Alright guys, welcome back to part 2 of my free-for-all FFA series. In the last part, we initially attacked green, went and attacked blue, and then we started marching back to green, and in this part we're going to continue with that. As you can see, green is hurriedly trying to build up a wall, protect himself from my onslaught, and I have to say, I'm really surprised he stayed in the same region. Normally people kind of run to another part of the map, hope to hide behind somebody or next to somebody, hope that person won't attack them. I was really surprised that green chose to stay alive, stay in the area where he was already known to be facing me, and he's actually rallied up a fairly decent counter force in this point of the game. So I was kind of surprised, to be honest. My army though is horribly out of place, but on the bright side, and I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little bit weird. I've been dealing with a sore throat for the better part of a week or so, and I'm hoping that soon it will come back to normal. But on the bright side, as you can see, we are at 72 villagers and only going to keep climbing. And our army's starting to get a little bit more in place. I do here choose to push in. Interesting. Okay, I don't think I was expecting myself to, at least from memory. But I don't want to kind of let green off the hook. I don't want to make that artillery foundry up and have a lot of artillery on the field, especially since I don't have any of my own artillery and I don't have any of my own cavalry. Unfortunately, there are some lancers and some minutemen, and this is a situation with a tower, a town center, and a very good amount of men that I do not want to fight. In fact, I really want to back out, but I also felt like at this point there was no good way for me to back out. But now with some reinforcements coming and the lancers that would just slow my retreat down dead, I'm going to try to back out. But as you can see there, I still lost a lot of men, so I was not necessarily thrilled with the process of backing out. I'm also starting to get to mills, throwing up more barracks, a third and a fourth barracks on the western side of my town going up. Interesting. I guess I'm anticipating a little bit of a longer push there. I'm running out of herds, so I'm kind of getting people on mills, but I have 40 people on food. I'm floating a tremendous surplus of resources, but that's good because we're going to be able to age to the industrial and then eventually the imperial age. And look at that. Pink got to the 4th age before me, and now he is raiding me with some Oprachevniks, and I killed those villagers, not realizing that he wasn't pursuing. I just noticed that now and watching this back, and oh my goodness, what a new move. And the reason why I killed those villagers, I didn't want to necessarily lead him directly to my town. I know you're thinking that is the stupidest thing ever, but that was my logic. It was like, rather than show him where I'm going to run away or walk directly back there, I'll just kill them. That'll solve all my problems. Not the smartest train of thought, but it was mine. As you can see here though, a push on green and is going to keep going. Let me actually interject here. He apologizes, but I mean, if he had attacked me there with a full force of Obrachevniks, I would probably not be in any position to be victorious in this FFA. Right now I've attacked blue and I've attacked green substantially to the point where neither of them would probably let me coexist with them. So it's really bad that, or it's really lucky for me that he chose not to jump on my throat there. If he had attacked me full-fledged, I would have been dead. I realize that though now, so I start building walls around my town. I'm thinking, alright, we're going to need to start being a little bit more settled, start developing inwards rather than outwards, making sure we get the resources we have in this relatively open area developed and safe. And that's what's going to go on here. I'm going to keep making villagers, but not bad. I'm also going to buy the first mill upgrade, which I thought I already had, actually. I don't remember if I had clicked on it a few times in the previous video, but I thought I already had clicked on it and had bought the upgrade already. As you can see, green's playing from a very defensive standpoint. 3 towers, town center, barracks up behind them. Barracks should probably be up a little bit further behind. I'd also have put the towers behind the houses in order to provide a little bit more protection for the towers, but not the end of the world regardless. Meanwhile, I happen to notice that some of green's villagers are there, gathering coin from the mine. Not the end of the world. I can't see what pink's score is. Oh wow, it's significantly less than mine. Even though he's an age ahead, my economy is far surpassed him. I'm telling you, Portuguese is a force to be reckoned with in free-for-alls because you get the town centers for free. It just makes growth while being aggressive just plausible, and that's really the best way to play a free-for-all. I'm fortunate to be located near a pretty steady supply of wood, and that is at this point that green has quit because it is indeed a pretty much decided game. So I'm going to probably just mass click my unit somewhere and then move out and on. I'm not sure. Let me see. What am I doing? I'm looking around. Yeah, I mass clicked my unit somewhere. And I guess we're just going to keep going up the top left side of the map, keep exploring. We're going to get our explorer to build us a trading post. And we're actually going to work on building another layer of wall and going to the next age and further kind of just cementing our hold on a game that I at least feel like is already fairly won. Not to be cocky, just like, no, seriously, look, I don't want to say won, but I felt like at this point, barring a really big 2v3 or 3v whatever, I think I definitely have the capacity to win. I am doubling up on my walls. Now, normally I'm a treaty player, so I tend to be very methodical and careful with my walls, but in free-for-alls, I like to deliberately not be methodical. I like to just throw them down like a crazy person. As you can see here, I'm doing that. I'm actually building that wall a lot further out, and the reason why I'm doing that is I want to be able to get access to woods in my own base, and so that's what's going on there. I'm going to just keep pushing forward. Unfortunately, this is where not having a treaty deck is kind of hurting me. Just like having the 2 shipments of 8 men in the Colonial Age were a strength, not having more shipments now is kind of a pain. Now, I was kind of disappointed here. I was thinking, well, maybe I should wait till I have 99 villagers made, and then I'll age with 4 so I have 103. But then I ended up not doing that, thinking, alright, you know what, I'm going to be fine either way. Probably don't need to do that. So, whatever. And then Pink was like, I'm going to go eat. And I was kind of like, I can't guarantee that. I think I told him no promises, and that kind of frustrates me slightly in a free-for-all that he would leave, but I ended up not attacking until he got back either way. But that did frustrate me, like, okay, I get that, you know, parents and whatever, but still, come on. Anyway, we're dividing up our force. We're going to march and go explore this half of the map. I haven't explored to my right that much, to be honest, but it's okay. I'm going to explore to my left and see what's happening. I'm going to keep gathering resources, and look at that. We're at, oh my, we're at 91 villagers already, which isn't great. I mean, if this was a treaty game, I'd have been in the Imperial Age for 5 to 10 minutes. And have all my villagers and my factories and a ton more cards. Now, if you want proof that I'm an equal opportunity killer, notice there I was attacking both yellow and blue, even though neither of them are a huge threat to me. I'm an equal opportunity mad dog kind of thing. And look at that, oh my goodness. Blue is quite the cavalry in force, in mass. Quite the cavalry, and I realized, alright, we're going to need to spruce up some defenses and actually get some of our own cavalry, I hope I was pronouncing it right, on the field. One is a type of horseman, the other is where Jesus went to die, so hopefully I'll get them correct. Meanwhile, I'm going to purchase some upgrades. I'm going to upgrade my Castadors, I'm going to upgrade my Musketeers, and then I'm going to get my 4th town center down, even though I'm pretty much done with making villagers, not the end of the world. And I'm just going to keep spamming my walls, and I'm going to go straight to the Imperial Age, actually. Interesting, okay. I should really, at this point, buy the mercantilism shipment from my home city and send my 2 factories. Here's another great FFA tip, though, for you, in case you're wondering. Don't buy factories until you're established. There's this kind of idea that, oh, I'll get to the 4th age, and I'll use the factories to kind of push my growth the rest of the way. No. Growth, not gross. Do not do that. That is the biggest key to losing your factories and losing the game ever. Send your factories after your town is established and relatively defended. To be honest, my town was not nearly as defended as it should have been in this case for me sending my factories, but I decided to do it anyway. But I'm telling you, you do not want to rush your factories on the field. Losing them is far, far worse than the short-term benefit of having them and then getting your town sacked. I'm telling you, hold on to your factories until you're in the industrial solidly for a significant amount of time with a fairly established town, or until you are in the Imperial Age and really walled up. Make sure you're at a position you can hold before you send them. That's just kind of my own little pro tip I've learned from my own horrible experiences. Like, have some walls, have some barracks, have some good things up before you send them. Oh my goodness, there's nothing worse than losing factories in this game. So there you go. And that's why I sent my factories a little bit late. But I also just ended up building up some walls really quickly, which was probably a pretty good choice. I think I'm just going to go straight for the capital level upgrades, and that's another thing. Don't age up till Imperial unless you're going to take effect of it, so there's no point in burning 8,000 resources getting there unless you're going to use even more resources to give you an advantage for being there. And I believe I'm going to build a capital right now. I'm going to try to buy the capital era improvements. I haven't upgraded my men for the most part yet, But at the end of the day, I always prefer to go with economic upgrades above military upgrades, for better or for worse. But either way, at this point, we've had a little bit of downtime, and that was mainly just because I was dealing with my economy. We're going to keep pushing. We know that blue has a ridiculous amount of cavalry in the area, and as you can see, there he is. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I can beat him, to be honest. Bow riders are an extremely strong and efficient units. Rifle riders themselves have a multiplier bonus against heavy infantry, artillery, and cavalry, so it's like you really need your light skirms protected in order to have any chance. But even then, axe riders are just ridiculously OP. Well, not OP relative to their cost in the Sioux economy, but they're all very, very strong. Now at this point though, I'm not gonna lie, I was very surprised I didn't win that fight. Now I did get distracted and I was doing other things, but still I would have assumed this would have been an easily one-sided, lopsided battle for me. So there you go. Maybe he had some TPs I didn't notice. No TPs. Did I win this fight actually? No, I'm losing this fight. I sent some musketeers in melee mode. Maybe that was my mistake. I'm not sure. But either way, I don't know. I thought I should have won this a lot better than I did. My economy split's horrible right now. I have a 37-43-4 split. I'm going to start building some plantations, getting it a little bit more geared. But I also am kind of stockpiling on wood because I want to get some upgrades. And I want to get some upgrades, and their food and wood, they're wood and coins. So that was kind of why I was going a little bit heavy on the wood. Also, I wanted to start building a forward base, and wow, blue decimated my army despite being in the fortress age. I love playing Sioux, by the way. Quick blurb side note: I don't think there's anything quite as fun as playing Sioux in a free-for-all, building a town with corrals for walls and massing cavalry in the middle of the map with a bunch of teepees. It's just a hell of a lot of fun. And blue got a little bit cocky here, but it's okay. He deserved to be a little bit cocky. He deserved to feel good about himself. He did a good job there. That was by no means a concentrated or good push. My units were not upgraded anywhere beyond his. They were veteran on veteran, and he had vastly superior units. So we will see how they go. Now he's having a little bit of fun at my expense, but I don't mind. He deserved it. He did show me, as much as I would dislike to admit it. I am going to move those villagers back, and as you can see, that's kind of why I walled off the wooded area. I don't want to be vulnerable to raiding. With the Sioux and the Russian on the map, oh my goodness, I will hide in my walls, and I will build walls 10 thick, even though I haven't yet. But the moral of the story is I will hide in my walls for as long as I need to in order to stay safe from external threats. Still floating a surplus of food, but that's okay because both Castadors and Musketeers, my two primary units, use a lot of food, and if I start using Hussar, that will be a lot of food as well. So probably a pretty good unit split, although not, or resource split, although not great. I'm still burning through my wood more or less just about as fast as I get it, so I don't feel too bad. I'm also sending my next factory. I sent Mercantilism, although I don't know why I didn't send that earlier. It probably would have been more useful, but regardless, not the end of the world. And we'll build a second factory, and then I assume I'll wall that one off as well. And this is kind of the treaty player in me, and I am going to do a treaty video guide or a treaty video match or something treaty related. I'll probably suck at the combat just because I haven't played treaty in forever, but nonetheless, I'm going to do some treaty. And I end up not sending, I don't send riding school in favor of, a wood chopping card. I guess that makes sense since I still need wood. Not entirely sure how I feel about that. I also should have built on that trading post and gotten the benefit. But as you can see here, I'm going to be sending a big kind of, not a kick-ass force, but I just kind of want to send a wave at blue and see what happens. Of slightly more upgraded men, and kind of to get him off his rocker, just a little bit off his rocker. Kind of like that Betty White show, off the rocker, on the rocker, or something like that. But either way, we're just going to see what happens. Meanwhile, I'm just going to keep with my economy. I'm going to keep working on booming. I have a lot of idle villagers, but I'm trying to get them all in my town. I really need to kind of focus on protecting my town more. And then, what do you know? Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Blue appears rather conveniently in my town. And I'm like, oh my, but I wasn't stressed at all. Unfortunately, he has cavalry and I don't. So I realized here, like, oh my goodness, this is probably bad. And I have, like, no buildings inside my town. But I'm going to ignore his threat. I'm going to just focus on my economy. And if there's one problem I have in games, is I always worry more about my economy than my military. My rationale is decent. I believe that if you can replace your men faster than he can make his men, you will win the war. It's a very Soviet Russian era thing, but I'm from Russia, so maybe that applies. But it's kind of the idea that if you guys both have 5 soldiers, right? Which would win? 5 soldiers and 5 soldiers. Well, then it has to do solely with tactics and improvements in this. But if one guy had 5 soldiers and the other guy had 4 soldiers and 5 villagers and could periodically refresh his men, in theory, as long as that side that could refresh their men wasn't a moron, they would win. So that's kind of my mentality on this game, was like, well, I'd rather deal with my economy and be able to replace my men endlessly. But Blue again leaves, and I was kind of like surprised, like, what? And then he accuses me and Pink of teaming, but you guys have seen my side of it. I've never met or talked to Pink before, and I really would have killed him if I had the chance, and if he had been next to me. Unfortunately, I found Blue twice in green, so no favoritism on my part in terms of who to go kill. But I'm going to continue to kind of beef up my in-town defenses a bit, just because I'm a little bit worried now that my town's been a little bit exposed. Not horribly, but a little bit more than I would like. My villager split now is 28, 41, 22. Again, awful split, but doesn't matter right now because I'm the only one in the Imperial Age, only one with the upgrades, only one doing well. And Blue's kind of complaining that Pink and I haven't fought, but I'm twice as strong as Pink at this point. So I'm kind of like, well, now he's just trying to save his own skin, hoping he can get like a 2v2 or 2v1 or 3v1 on me. And yeah, there's only 4 people left. Yellow's still in the game. Yellow's doing, I don't know how well Yellow's doing yet, but I do see Yellow's trading post, and I do just go for it. I'm an equal opportunity killer. I've said it before, but I don't know why Yellow had so many idle villagers. And this wasn't the highest level of competition to face, but it was good for me having not played in forever to get back, honestly. First game in forever. But I'm just going to slaughter a bunch of Yellow villagers there, not lose anybody, destroy this town center, and I'm going to keep marching up to Blue. Or town center, I mean trading post. And I'm going to march up to Blue, see what happens, kind of get a little bit more of an army, united and going. So that's what's going on there. Gonna get some more unit upgrades. Upgrade my Castadors, upgrade my Musketeers, you know, kind of that stupid stuff. I am, again, still sitting on a surplus of food, but if I ever need to spam Musketeers to save me, I will be able to. Or Hussar, really, so hopefully I'll be fine. And I had meant to build that trading post a long time ago, but for some reason it never did. And lo and behold, I just see a bunch of Yellow's men there, and I'm thinking, well, I got a lot of Halberdiers, let's see how they go. So I send my Halberdiers to attack, and then I realize he's going to run all his Lancers to me, so I try to walk my Castadors through the middle of my Halberdiers with the Lancers all around. I honestly don't know or think that's too effective. I think he has way too many units in order for my measly force to be successful, but even then I was surprised. Halberdiers are supposed to be a hard counter to cavalry. Cavalry? I hope I'm saying that right. But then again, Lancers do have a 2x bonus or 3x bonus against heavy infantry, so I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Blue's all happy. He's like, oh great, go attack Yellow. I'm like, I attack everybody, but I'm thinking that. I say, sorry man, I was looking for purple, LOL, but I am purple. I meant blue. No, but I'm a pretty equal opportunity attacker. At this point, I've attacked everybody in the game seriously, but Pink I haven't seen except for him running by once with like 2 horses, and then he chose not to pursue me. I assure you that if he had pursued me, I would have pursued him. So just kind of how it all goes, I guess. I'm just fighting the war, how I fight it. Still don't know where anybody is though. Kind of disappointing. But we are going to get a bunch more men out on the field. And this was kind of a rather middling episode. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, alright, I should win this. And now I just need to go and clean up the floor. And that's really what's going to probably happen in the next video, the next part. Let's see. I end this video marching off this army to attack, and I don't think they're going to win. I don't think I have enough Dragoons there to kill the Lancers. I don't think Castadors have enough of a ranged attack to provide good supporting fire. And my micro, as you can tell, is absolutely horrible. I don't use my Castadors once. I'm just kind of sending horrible block weights of units at my opponents. But not the end of the world, because my units are now being imperialized, and I'm like, screw this, I have imperial units. And so I'm going to end this video right here with a bunch of Musketeers, 50 to be exact, marching up to the Sioux player who has just hit the post-industrial age or the industrial age, and I'm going to see what happens next. And in the next video, we are going to fight yellow for real, we're going to fight blue for real, and we are going to fight pink for real. And it might even become a 3-on-1 or not, so you guys will have to stay tuned to see what happens. Do they band together against me? Do I win? Do I lose? How long is the last part? But until next time, I do have a quote of the day from Sun Tzu and the Art of War. Therefore, the good fighter will be terrible in his onset and prompt in his decision. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is BTM, and I would like to thank you for watching my video. Until next time, good luck and happy hunting. BTM out.